President Xi received a warm welcome from businesses with a special dinner in his honor on Wednesday in San Francisco. The Chinese leader highlighted the friendship between the two countries, calling for renewed cooperation. Zhao Yunfei has more.
An occasion to meet old friends. Despite Chinese President Xi Jinping's tight schedule in San Francisco, he attended a welcome dinner hosted by U.S. organizations friendly to China. The Chinese leader underscored San Francisco's century-long history of exchanges between the Chinese and American peoples. Reflecting on his own experiences, he also recalled his first visit to the U.S., describing his time in Iowa as unforgettable.
I was the governor that hosted Xi Jinping 1985, so we are just honored to be invited to be part of this. We are the two biggest economies in the world, and it's important that we work together, and we are mutually dependent on each other.
Among the participants are people in the U.S. who had previous interactions with President Xi. The Chinese president, in many occasions, has stressed the importance of people-to-people exchanges between China and the United States.
Lee Gardner says his family traveled to China in the late 1980s and lived comfortably among locals. President Xi invited the family members back to China in 1992 when he was a government official in Fuzhou. Since then, members of the Gardner family have frequently visited the country.
We need to learn about each other's societies and cultures, I think, in order for us to have peace together. And I think that's where the people-to-people diplomacy is a very strong help in that direction.
At the dinner on Wednesday, President Xi said the world's biggest developing and developed countries need to skillfully navigate their relationship, shouldering responsibilities in the world undergoing rapid turbulence and change.
These two countries can make or break world peace, and I think they need to be getting to know each other better on a regular basis.
With the world now expecting improved China-U.S. ties, President Xi told his audience the two countries should work together to make great contributions to world peace and development. Zhao Yunfei, CGTN, San Francisco.
One way that could improve U.S.-China relations is collaboration on emerging technologies such as AI. Xu Shenchen has more.
This is LiDAR. It's not a camera. It only sees shapes and detects distances, but it can be used as the eye for machines.
This round cylinder, made in China, has become very popular in the world's most innovative place, Silicon Valley.
As a company, we have about 60% market share in autonomous driving. That is actually a global number. So if you look around here in the Bay Area, here in Silicon Valley, you basically see only Hesai LiDARs on any vehicle.
LiDAR, light detection and ranging sensors, can present a high-resolution three-dimensional reading of its surroundings, allowing cars to see, improving safety and helping to achieve autonomous driving.
We are here because we are very close to our customer base over here that is requiring high performance, high quality LiDARs. So if you look around in the Bay Area, in Silicon Valley, or if you go to San Francisco, you see a lot of robo-taxi companies, or you see a lot of last-mile delivery companies, or you see a lot of robot-trucking companies.
While LiDAR is still a market niche, the market potential is estimated to be in billions of dollars in the next 5 years, 10 times today's market size, as autonomous driving continues to grow. But it doesn't mean it is easy.
Anything that we produce in China right now needs to get a 25% tariff over here. And at this moment in time, to do business together, it's a lot of hurdles.
And Bush also told me that restrictions do not help to develop an industry in a long term. For a rising new technology with a market that works in billions of US dollars, open market is what it needs.
LiDAR is only the eyes. It only generates data. Enabling autonomous driving also needs the algorithms, the artificial intelligence, an almost $2 trillion market by 2030 that can benefit from collaboration between the world's two largest economies.
U.S. has been the biggest economy in driving the development in the West, but China in the East, it is also the biggest economy in driving AI development too. It is such a big ecosystem, a big economy to serve, and therefore there will be so many of the multinational company, overseas company, they would like to tap on the China market.
The fast development of AI also comes back to help manufacture better LiDARs. As for Hesai, the firm is launching a new manufacturing base in Shanghai that serves the world. And the future road ahead for LiDARs continue to enable a wide range of machines to see, including robotics. Xu Xingchen, CGTN, San Francisco.
Well, with me for more analysis, all that's going on at APEC, Benjamin Cavender, the Managing Director, China Market Research Group over in Shanghai. Good to see you, Ben. 72 hours ago to where we are today, are relations with China and the U.S. better, I assume?
I think we can say that things are going in the right direction. I think really the main focus of this summit was hopefully to get both sides communicating again, to show that there was going to be future communication, even if nothing substantive necessarily was going to come out of these meetings, that there was going to be an eye towards future cooperation. And I think we definitely got all of that. So I think everybody looking at the summit should be sort of taking things as a win right now and should be cautiously optimistic that this does at least pave a way for a path forward over the next year.
There was a lot of expectations, high expectations, if you will, going into these meetings, that there would be announcements, both from U.S. companies going into China and Chinese companies, say, coming to America, or collaboration with American companies. Did we get much of that?
You know, I think when you look at the business community and how they've reacted to the summit and the CEO dinner, you know, there hasn't really been as much of those kinds of agreements as maybe we've seen in the past. I think the U.S. business community, when they look at China and they look at Xi Jinping's speech, there's a feeling that, you know, the right words were said, that there is going to hopefully be an opening to the Chinese market. But it's really still very much a wait-and-see approach to see if on the ground there are any, you know, relaxation to restrictions on U.S. businesses being able to operate freely. And I think from the Chinese side, there's still a perception that the U.S. has a lot of regulations in place that would be hampering the growth of Chinese companies. So, you know, we're seeing small trade deals come out of this, but as far as bigger changes, I think everybody's gonna be looking at the next 6 months to see if the needle really actually moves.
Right. No, look, I'm with you. I think the next 6 to 9 months is probably critical as we continue the sort of momentum that we've had. Our relationship has been very rocky, right? There's been a lot of issues on both sides in trying to get together and get on the same page. And maybe this past week is a start to getting on the same page. I guess my question to you is, what happens in the next 6 months that you would like to see that would mean that we're getting first downs and we're moving the ball forward?
You know, I think looking at the situation on the ground in China, the key thing is going to be seeing whether or not there's, I think, frankly, positive media towards the idea of U.S. businesses operating in China, because that's going to go a long way towards maybe shifting consumer perception or consumer behavior a little bit. So it isn't even necessarily about policy. It's just about presenting the right image in China, and that image sort of coming from the Chinese government. I think, you know, looking at what, you know, Chinese companies would like to see from the U.S., I think, frankly, they'd love to see some kind of at least initial talk around reduction of tariffs, as an example. I'm not sure we're going to get that. I think also the fly in the ointment here is everybody's looking ahead towards the next U.S. presidential election and you know, what's going to happen after that. And so we may not actually see too much changing before that happens.
Other experts, when we previewed this particular meeting, talked a lot about how the Chinese delegation wanted to share their view that China is open, specifically to the U.S., to U.S. companies, and they're open for business. You think that message came across?
Yeah, I think the right words were said and were repeated, and I think that's a very good thing. And I think that is going to help give some U.S. firms the assurance that maybe it is safe to continue investing, to continue expanding their business in China. But I think when you talk to a lot of U.S. business leaders, there's still a perspective that China is quite a difficult market to operate in right now. It's, you know, it's very competitive. Restrictions do sometimes make things a little bit trickier than they might be in other markets, and China's not growing as quickly as it has in the past, and so they have to weigh all of those factors together. But I think these talks were really very much a step in the right direction towards getting companies to
right.
sort of, you know, rethink and start coming back.
And look, there's a big cultural divide between the two. I mean, we are very different in the way we we teach, we think, we educate, and so on. And maybe this week we just maybe acknowledge the fact that, hey, there are differences, but there are areas that we can work together on. And I'm wondering, 6 months from now or a year from now, are there any particular areas that you'd like to see more cooperation? For example, let's say in technology with AI, or with trade, or with the agricultural trade between the two countries, which has always historically been very big.
Yeah, I mean, I think looking at areas where there could be cooperation, I think certainly there could and should and probably will be continuing discussion around AI, and that might be around commercial application, but also around how AI fits into the bigger picture with the military and areas like that. And so I think that discussion certainly should go forward. I think with agriculture, there are always, as you pointed out, been close ties. China has traditionally used that as a bargaining chip, will probably continue to do so, but frankly still needs U.S. agriculture. And so I think you probably will see some cooperation there as well. Having said that, I think that we're still in a very tight situation with regards to things like semiconductors, and I think there's still going to be a lot of friction there going forward. I don't see an easy path towards reconciliation there in the next 6 to 9 months.